Welcome to the final episode of the Monthly Social for 2023, and thank you again for being here with me and our guests. If you haven't subscribed to the show yet, please do. It's free and you'll get notified of new segments automatically. Joining me in the closeout show is In Living Color legend, now author, designer, and musician, Tommy Davidson. Then we go to the Canadian East Coast and blueberry picking with country music star and staycation apparel designer, Jolene Harnish. Next, I welcome my dad, Pietro Piraino, to the show as we look at his immigration journey to Canada in an interview where I ask the questions in Italian and he answers me in English. Then I'll visit a recent article on why so many people are angry on social media and what it means for the new year. Of course, I'll have a ton of music from our guests and lots more talk in between. So for the final time in 2023, let's go! First, a word from one of our friends of the podcast, Johnny Prosciutto.
Johnny Prosciutto, artisanal Italian homemade products. We make it like our grandfather, or as we say, Nonno. Naturally cured, old-fashioned, and delicious. Order online at johnnyprosciutto.com, and we deliver right to your front door, where the only thing left for you to do is enjoy it with your friends and family. That's johnnyprosciutto.com.
Well, I got my December, January half-winter order from Johnny Prosciutto. Got some nice salami and cacciatore sausage, and I got this really amazing pepperoni for pizza, but it's a larger size pepperoni. It was delicious. I put it on some homemade pizza. It was fantastic. Of course, he's got prosciutto. I know he's got some cheese. He's got the olives. Johnny Prosciutto has everything. JohnnyProsciutto.com, and just tell Anthony that you talk to Guido and he'll take care of you. He'll take care of you anyways. He's a good guy, and so is Johnny Prosciutto. Look, there isn't a month that I've done a recording where I say, well, we have so much content for you. A lot of content for you. But as usual, like a couple of things on my mind to share with you. I got to go to the Grey Cup, the CFL, the Canadian Football League, the Grey Cup in Hamilton, Ontario, where the Winnipeg Blue Bombers played the Montreal Alouettes, and it was fantastic. What a great experience. What a great football game. And then, of course, my childhood favorite team, the Montreal Alouettes, end up capturing the Grey Cup, and I had never experienced them doing that in person, so it was a complete highlight. Listen, I cover off the experience of transportation and the arena and the game and the concessions and just about everything about the experience we had when we went to that game, and you can watch that if you go to youtube.com/at the coach's call. I do a segment on covering the Grey Cup. I'll put that in the show notes so that you can check that out, but it was awesome. And then I went to a country concert at the Danforth Music Hall in Toronto, Ontario, to see Paul Brandt and Terry Clark, and another fantastic show. Paul and Terry, I mean, look, they played all their hits, and they had great chemistry on stage. I'm going to do a little bit of a cover of the event, probably in one of the articles that I do over at thepathradio.com. But I just phenomenal venue. The sound was fantastic in terms of that, the sound experience, and the two of them going back and forth. There's a little bit of comedy, some great music. I did post a couple of videos where they're telling stories in between, and they're both obviously great storytellers. But over on TikTok, at The Path Radio, you'll see a couple of videos that I posted of them sharing some stories and little music clips of them. And, you can join the rest of the thousands of viewers who've been looking at those and enjoy that content. But love that concert music show. and hopefully get to do more country music. And I've got some country music coming up with another one of our Canadian talents right here on the show, as I mentioned, Jolene Harnish, and there's some great stories there. Now, as we're getting to some of these events, and the Grey Cup wasn't as, getting to the Grey Cup in Hamilton wasn't as bad as getting to the Danforth Music Hall in Toronto. Boy, like just the 404 and the Don Valley Parkway, the traffic was absolutely horrendous. And there's lane closures because of construction. We hear the sirens and you just cringe because they're going to close parts of the road. There was, I don't know, 3-4 accidents, 2 fire trucks. It was like, are we ever going to get there? We did. We obviously got there, but just it's that anxiety that builds up when you start hearing those things, and the road's closing, and you can't go for much faster than 5 kilometers an hour, if that. But it also reminded me of the traffic reports that I hear every single morning, and they go something like this. Oh, the road is blocked up on this highway, so you'll want to take an alternate route. But be careful on that alternate route because the left lane and the right lane, they're all jammed up, so you might have to come up the middle. But further down the road, it's all closed up due to constructions, so you're going to be facing delays. You might want to consider this other alternate route that has 3 of the 4 lanes available, but one is really jammed up. And it just goes on and on and on like that. And unfortunately, most of the time, you look and you just ask, where's everybody going? Honestly, we just went through a period of time where we proved the value of remote work and how we could, gain some efficiencies and cut our costs and, be kind to the environment, and just so many lost lessons learned as I watch everybody rushing to get nowhere, absolutely nowhere. And I'm pretty sure there's some businesses out there that would benefit from, tweaking or relooking at what their remote work plans are, and changing things up and trusting people again, because we got some really good things that happened during a very dark period of our time here, as we went through that experience. Now, talking about experiences and understanding, and 'tis the season. We are in the Christmas and New Year's and holiday season, and I think it's important that we have some awareness of ourselves, what we're going to spend, how much we're going to spend, our reasons for spending, recognizing that not everybody can maybe do what you can do for gifts and things like that, and just having that awareness of shopping and having pressures or putting pressures on friends or family, and maybe you could just take the pressure off and do something different. If you're thinking about gifts, we've gone through a period in our economy here where there's been some strong inflation. Not everybody is earning or working in ways that are equal to others, or that they can participate in certain things. So just have that self-awareness when you're having those conversations and you're getting together with folks, and have some patience at the malls, have some patience when you travel on the roads. There's no rush. I mean, there's red lights and yellow lights, and just follow the traffic rules and try not to cut people off and run people over. Just be patient. We're all going to get to where we're going to go. We all know, I just talked about the traffic things and the way they are. But man, I see the malls, and I see what's going on at some of the retail places, and, fighting for parking spots. And hey, look, man, just take a little walk, park a little further. It's good for your health. Take a little walk. If you're able to, take a little walk. If you see some elderly people or some folks that, can't do that distance, give them your spot, help them out, get a cart for them, do something nice for somebody, right? There's a lot of things in the world where people aren't doing nice things for each other. So do something nice for somebody this holiday season. If you can't buy somebody something, or you can't afford, do something nice for somebody. Go a long way, especially out in the malls and the grocery stores and the parking lots. And if you have kids, pretty sure you're going to teach them something valuable that they'll remember for the rest of their lives. Now, I'm going to be done with that. and I want to get to our guests. We've got some special guests here, of course, on the show. So let's get going with our first one as we welcome Tommy Davidson.
Today, I have the privilege of taking you on a journey from comedy clubs to TV and the big screen and to new jazzful melodies from an entertainer who says, if it's not the time, it's just not the time yet. He's made you laugh alongside Jamie Foxx, Jim Carrey, and Damon Wayans, to name a few. He's also shared the stage with Halle Berry, Jada Pinkett Smith, Tim Allen, Jeff Foxworthy, and a ton more. An Emmy Award winner for the Disney animated series The Proud Family, Louder and Prouder, author of the book Living in Color, a clothing designer, and now a smooth jazz musician. I'm excited to welcome to the show Tommy Davidson. Thanks for being here, Tommy. How you doing?
I'm glad to be here, and anytime someone talks about me, it's good. It's good. Well, because quality is out of style. You know, quality is not in style. Popularity is in style.
That's a great point. Quality is not style. Yeah, I hear you.
So the more popular that I can be, the more people can see my quality.
Quality. I gotta tell you, I'm a little nervous having you on the show.
Why?
So I've been doing this. I'm in January. I think it'll be 5 years that I'm doing this.
Okay.
And I realized I've done sports. I've had sports people, music people, movie people, health people, wealth, all sorts of personalities. But I have not yet had until right now. And what a great way to start. Someone who has been a stand-up comedian, has had such a wonderful career helping us smile and laugh. And are you okay with being our first?
Yeah, of course, man. Of course. Are you kidding me?
See, I'm nervous. You're going to be funny.
Don't save the best for last. Don't save the best for last.
Before we hit the record button, you're making me crack up. And I was thinking to myself, I was down in Florida back in August, and I was with my family. We went to Orlando, the Universal Studios, etc.
Okay.
Doing the park thing. And I don't know how we got on the topic. I met one of the shopkeepers, and the show came up, and she says to me, well, is this one of those shows? Are you funny? I'm like, I don't know that I don't try to be funny. She's like, well, what's your show about? I'm like, well, anti-racism and inclusion and diversity. And we have music guests and we do health and wealth. And she goes, but are you funny? I'm like, if you want, just try listening to the show. Now, I'm hoping she listens when you're here, because then I'll be like, Tommy, he's funny. See, we got funny. I got funny
yes,
for these
funny.
people, Tommy.
Yeah. Yeah. And she was making a good request. That was a good request.
She was. I agree.
Yeah.
I think I need to bring a little bit more, joy, humor, funniness to the show. So here you are.
There's funny things going. There's all this funny stuff going on in the world. You know what I mean? A lot that makes you dependent on joy and laughter.
For sure.
As opposed to a genuine reaction, which would only make you sad.
That's right. No more genuine reactions. Fun reactions. Yeah. Fun reactions only.
Yeah.
Look, Tommy, you've done a lot of things in your career. I'm hoping we're going to get to dip into all these things today, including some of your new shared musical talents. I'm curious about, as we get into those things, I'm curious about, as a stand-up comedian, when you meet people, is there an expectation there? Like, do you always have to be on? Like, are they wanting to meet, funny Tommy Davidson?
You know what? Yeah, they expect it. Oh, first, real quick, Toronto way. Okay. So first, Toronto way. So first, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. It's like going to Lawrence Taylor and say, you play football, man. And for him to go, man, I ain't talking, I'm not into that, man. You know what I mean? It's they expect it from me. And usually they're laughing before they even open their mouth. So I don't have to do much. I really don't. I can actually be just as normal as can be with people because they're already laughing. I'm serious. They're already laughing.
Because they want to laugh, right? Because they want to laugh, right, Tommy? They want to laugh.
Yeah. They're laughing already, so I can be myself. But I think it's a real gift for me personally that when people approach me, 98.7% of the time, they're very happy.
Cool.
Yeah, they're very happy. I don't work like at the baggage, department at the airport where the first thing people hear in the morning, I was like, where are my bags, man? You know what I mean? It's just like when people see me, they go, oh, really? Man, it's like they're happy to see me and it helps.
Yeah, they come to you from a good place. So I think it's cool. Like you're saying, look, it's not hard for me. It comes naturally and it's easy, and I'm making people laugh anyways. So I'm glad it's not one of the things that bothers you, because sometimes you hear that, right? Like an entertainer will be like, oh man, I'm eating my soup, I'm eating my dinner, don't bug me, or something like that. Anyways.
Yeah. I've been able to surmise that the person walking up to me has everything to do with me having like a clicker for a garage. Like I used to have to park my car on the curb, and that was it. Public curb. I washed it on the public curb. I waxed it on the public curb, went to bed and left it on the public curb. I have a clicker, and I can drive my car into a garage because of the people that approach me.
Yeah.
I'm serious, man. I don't disconnect. I don't disconnect from the source.
Wow.
Of a really, really quality life, man.
That's awesome. That's good to hear, Tommy. That's good to hear.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Did you was this your career plan? Like, was comedy your career plan? Was it just so organic to you, it just became that? Or did you think about doing it?
It was organic to my friend Howard. I grew up with him since, he's my friend since I was 8 years old. And I finally got a really good job at a Ramada Inn in Bethesda, Maryland. I'm from Washington, D.C. in Maryland.
Right.
And I called him. We didn't come from the best circumstances ever, we didn't grow up rich for real. And I told him I had this job, and he said, "You're stupid. I can't believe that you're fired up to do that. You should be in Hollywood. You could be better than Eddie Murphy. You can write your own ticket." And I was like, "Get out of my face. Mad, you ain't got no job." And he hooked me up with a job. Well, not a job. He hooked me up with an opportunity to get on stage at the worst strip club in Washington, D.C. And he worked there as like a janitor. And he asked the manager, "Hey, can this guy come down and go on stage?" And he bothered me so much, man, that I finally went down there. And the guy looked at me and was like, "There's the mic, man. You got 5 minutes, man."
Wow.
And I look at Howard and I go, "Well, what do I do?" He said, "I don't care what you do. Just go up there and say something on that mic." And from the first thing I said, people laughed. And I'm sitting here with you. I swear. That's how it went down.
Thank you, Howard. Thank you for getting him up there, for getting you up there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Howard knew. Howard knew. The good thing about that is it's not irony. The wonderful thing about that is that Howard had 12 brothers and sisters. Howard was poor as I don't know what. They had like moving blankets on their bed for blankets.
Wow.
You know what I mean? They were like, and my mom would invite Howard over to our house on Christmas morning, and he'd get to bring his present. So he came to my house and he opened his present. It was a paper bag with a bow on it, and he opened it up, and there was 3 little plastic army men, with posing, and he had an orange. Yeah. And my mother leans into me and she goes, "Give him one of your watches," And I'm like, "I'm not giving him my watch." I didn't say it like that, She said, "Give him one of your watches." I said, "Why?" She said, "Because your grandparents gave you one and I gave you one. So take the one you like the best and give me the other one." And I was pissed, man. But look.
Yeah.
My mother was teaching me the universal law of exchange.
Yeah.
you know, worked
Howard,
out.
Howard, yeah, I was gonna say Howard gave the watch back. That's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
he gave it back in you know,
Yeah.
1,000 million times.
You know what? I wonder sometimes if we all have a Howard in our lives and we don't realize that we have a Howard in our lives, you know. But shout out to Howard, and to people who don't know, look around. Maybe there's a Howard in your life, and you know, something you could do about that too. Tommy,
There always is. There always is. Yeah.
we can't say Tommy Davidson without thinking In Living Color. Can we talk about that?
No, I'm just kidding. That's
Yes,
only the best thing that ever happened to me.
I knew you were going to be difficult.
Yeah. Only the best thing that ever happened to me, bro.
Yeah.
Only the best thing that ever happened to me happened to us. No, that's the best thing that could have happened to all of us, was to be on that show and be together. Be together. We were pulled together by a genius who knew what we could do, and he had a game plan, and it worked. And we walked away from that situation being even more successful because it was top notch quality. Top quality.
It was.
You don't get better than
cool.
that. Period. You don't get better than In Living Color when it comes to sketch shows. They might say Saturday Night Live, but they're not being honest.
Was there you mentioned Saturday Night Live. Was there when you guys were prepping, was there a we want to be better than SNL?
We knew we were coming into it. You know, we're not better than the sketch artists. We're not.
Okay.
You know, Bellucci, Aykroyd. I mean, Eddie Murphy. I mean, we're not better. I just think that we're better for all around society.
Why is that?
Our audience included everybody.
Yeah.
Our comedy included everybody. That's what the difference was.
Was there a competition? When you guys were doing that stuff, were you thinking competition?
No, because we had already absorbed all the stuff around us that we loved. And Saturday Night Live, I mean, come on. You know, we loved it, man. You know, I actually auditioned for Saturday Night Live before I got in Living Color. And it really wasn't an audition. It was just like Lorne Michael was sitting there. He looked at me from his desk and basically said, I'm really not looking for a black medium.
Oh.
You know, Eddie Murphy was like a mistake and blah, blah, blah. He's going on this long thing. And, you know, at the end, I just said, well, you know, if I could zip this thing off, this brown thing off, you know, you wouldn't be the first place I'd go.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I probably, you know, I probably start filling out some job applications or something. You know what I mean?
Did that back then, did that surprise you? Like when, you know, was that a shock to you in any kind of way, or was it?
Nah, because I'm really not that shockable.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of points of reference.
Right.
I saw his body language. So I knew what he was going to do. You know, it's like Bruce Lee, he said, I don't block a punch. I block the intention of a punch. So he was just like the new manager that came to the Ramada Inn that I worked at when I was like 18. You know, he fired everybody, all these great people, and he was just making room for his people. And I was out in the freezer, you know, chipping some old freaking shrimp juice that had leaked on the floor but got frozen again. And he came out there for me. And he was like, hey, you know, you need to do that better. And I said, hey, man, you know, I know you're going to fire me. So you're not going to be talking to me.
Yeah.
Fat bat, you know what I mean? And I punch you in your face. And he walked back and he walked back in the building.
Nice.
You know? Yeah, so I saw that before.
Right.
I saw that I have something that you want, but you ain't gonna get it. You know? And I've since seen him, and the success that I've been able to have didn't make me angry or resentful at him.
Yeah.
It actually made me grateful, because had he not done that, I may have ended up being Tommy Davidson from Saturday Night Live.
Right.
I'd rather be from Indigenous Color.
Yeah. Might have had an entirely different vibe. Might have had an entirely different
vibe. I mean, I'm all about the vibe, bro. Yeah. It was just the best thing that ever happened to me. It was one of the best things that ever happened to me, really. You know, I'm serious.
No, I get it. And you know, unanswered prayers, Tommy. Unanswered prayers sometimes, right? Like, you know, take our cue and you know, what's that? You make lemonade or something, or I don't know. It turned out better, I think, is where we're at. And you kind of saw it.
Yeah.
I got to tell you this. You know, the In Living Color days, when I knew we were gonna get together and stuff, I went back and I was like, oh, you know what? I haven't seen some of the skits in a while, so I watched your Michael Jackson skit, and yeah, man, you know what? I can I can play that over and over, and I laugh every time, and you know, just in different spots and things like that. And but it always does. And I shared it with my brother. I said, hey, I'm talking with Tommy Davidson, and I said, remember this skit? Check out this skit. And you know, he starts laughing, and you know, the entertainment, it's stood the test of time, is what it's done, right? It still continues to draw views. Like when you think back on that skit, what do you remember? What stands out for you?
The fact that I didn't really have a sketch for Michael Jackson, and Keenan asked me, did I? And I said yes. So I had to go run and write it and do all this other stuff, and it was prepared by the time he came back around. You know, and Michael Jackson is the biggest freaking artist of that time. How lucky am I that I get to do the impression of him and kill it?
You did.
Kill it. I can go down in history as the guy that did Michael Jackson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Spike Lee, and freaking Hammer. That's a heavy ass list.
It is. And nailed it. And
Stevie Wonder, I could just keep going.
Yeah. You just nailed it. The thing about that video, the ending, right? Like we laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh, and then you punch us in the face at the end, right? You do. There's a punch in the face. Was that scripted in, or was that something that just happened?
That was Keenan Ivory Wayans. You know, you may make the I, but he'll dot it. You may make the T, but he will cross it, man. That's his genius.
It's still like, you know, watching it today. Okay, how about this? Why does it still make us laugh today, and why does people still connect with that video?
Because it's really funny. It's not like, oh, hey, that's funny. Well, or that's funny, man. You know, it
is hilarious funny.
Oh my God. What? It's that kind of funny.
Yeah, it is.
It's really funny. Yeah, when things are really funny,
yeah,
you don't talk about them because you're too busy laughing.
And the end is still relevant. The ending of that video is still relevant.
Yeah, it's still relevant because it's an ism.
Wild.
You know, race is a racism. Yeah. It's an ism. It means it is all the time. It's not a wasm.
I think that was the mind-blowing part for me when I watched it again. And I said the ending punches you in the face. And I went, holy, that's still relevant. Like, you forget, and then these years go by, and then you start to think through the years, and you're going, still relevant. Wild.
Yeah, it's still relevant that people who are from different cultural backgrounds and stuff, you know, have a tendency to hate each other You know what I mean? When we
Yeah.
have recent examples, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, we do. Unfortunately.
Television.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we have too many
Example.
recent examples, right?
Yeah, but it's planet Earth. Planet Earth.
Yeah.
You know, there's some spooky things going on planet Earth. You know, one of the things that's kind of spooky is, you know, it only takes about 2 atomic bombs or 3 to just do the whole thing, you know.
Wipe it out.
And there's thousands. So yeah,
right.
There's thousands.
Peace, love, and happiness is was the theme last night when I had a guest on.
Mm-hmm.
So let's keep that in mind. If
Is
we
that
can.
right? Is that right? No, but it is. We can talk about it. You see what I mean? That's peace, love, and happiness. We can talk about it because the action that's taken hasn't been taken.
It has not.
What a joyful moment. It's the ultimate happy, you know?
Yeah.
It's how you see it, you know?
We're getting some good insights from here, Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting some real insights.
Yeah.
Look, why do you think there hasn't been an In Living Color sequel or not sequels? Maybe is not the right word, but why hasn't there been a show like it or of its ilk since?
You know what? I couldn't tell you the answer to that because it's the networks that won't do it. Keenan told me when he wanted to do In Living Color, he just couldn't find a cast like us. That's what he told me. I couldn't find people that had the thing you guys had. You know? And society has changed, and that's not the reason why it's not on the air. You know what I mean? That's not the reason why. It would be even better now than it was before. Because what In Living Color is an ease and an answer for society. You see?
Yeah.
It's an ease and an answer. It's like really serving the masses with genuine happiness. The real deal. You know what I mean? If I turn my phone on one more time and somebody is bragging about how broccoli can, you know, make you a billionaire, it's crazy. And I don't know about those guys who are going to the gym. You know, you don't need to go to the gym. You know, you like, get off of my phone. Oh my God. You know what I mean?
Tommy, I'm gonna flip the TV show words over for a bit. In 2020, you penned a book called Living in Color: What's Funny About Me. To some, part of that title is an obvious choice to play off the TV show, but in your introduction, it kicks off with you addressing race. And you know, we've been talking about race a little bit here. Is the title of the book meant to also trigger considerations on how race played out in your career? Or is there another reason that you felt strongly enough to start that way?
Yeah, the way I started in life, you know, abandoned in the trash as a black person, right? Found randomly by a white woman who raised me until 5 in the Midwest.
Yeah.
And then moving to Washington, D.C. And the games begin. So, you know, I never had to consider race. That's all. So I was living, I make it living in color because I was living colorless before I moved to Washington, D.C. You know, so once color came into play, things got really, really dangerous and hard for me as a child. So I named it Living in Color. And the irony is I was on in living color.
Right.
It was the obvious title that had to happen.
Yeah, I was thinking, there was that sort of double meaning to it, and it made perfect sense. Just wanted in my mind to think, was that the intent? Tommy,
There's nachos in there,
are we having nachos?
and there's salsa, hot salsa. All right.
This is that's okay. Talk about in living color. We're having nachos and salsa. I like nachos and salsa.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just suggestions, just making someone aware of,
what
of the provisions.
Is there a preference on the salsa, Tommy, or?
Yeah, I like it hot, really, really, really hot. I like hot.
Really?
Yeah, I can't eat one drop of guacamole though.
No.
I can't eat guac.
Why?
Because I saw The Exorcist.
I never listen. I never put
I don't
The
swim
Exorcist
too far out in the ocean either, because I saw Jaws. So it's some things just determine my habits. Some things define my habits. For Christ's sake.
I liked guacamole until this moment.
Plus, we used to make it. The little restaurants that I worked at, we had it in buckets, man. You know what I mean? It's just like slosh, and people like it, But like my grandfather said, if everybody liked the same thing, everybody'd be chasing after your grandmother.
Was he a comedian?
No.
Oh.
But he sure was funny.
So look, we were talking about the book before we got into salsa and guacamole. Was the book a pandemic project? And I'm asking that because I'm noticing a lot of artists and entertainers. Everybody's finding these new talents or passions, or these ideas have grown when they suddenly had all this extra time on their hands. Entertainers can't stop entertaining. I don't know. But look, we've got a wealth of cool music, books. There's so many other things coming out. Was the book always in the works, or was it Tommy's Got Time?
No, the book was done.
Oh,
before the pandemic. Yeah, the book was done before the pandemic happened. And actually, I was going to promote the book, and the pandemic happened. So I had a captive audience to promote it to, but they were kind of busy. You know what I mean? Trying to eat. But it, like we were talking about early, how natural occurrences are better than forced.
Yeah.
It was the perfect thing for me, because the audience had a lot of time that if they got that in their hands, they could be really thorough going through it. And that to me makes me the happiest, because I put the stuff that's in that book to help the reader be happy and be grateful.
You found your way back to quality.
Yep, there you go.
Okay. Found your way back to quality.
Bloor Street, baby. No, go ahead. Green Street, baby. No, go ahead.
So the perfect lead in. There's the part about the book. What's funny about me? That part of the title. Are we getting the best of Tommy Davidson funny stories, or was it just the perfect juxtaposition to Living in Color?
It was the perfect juxtaposition to Living Color, right? Or Living in Color, but the reality of it and the way I was able to put the reader at ease, because they will realize that we're all in the same boat. The book is bigger than me. I was able to convey that we are all the same, undeniably. Like I treat color I treat color in a whole different way, or can communicate color in a whole different way. I don't think that racism is something that's that real. There's other things that exist in us that are stronger than that. If way back in early civilization, if a tribe of Homo sapiens sapiens ran into another tribe that was a different color, or clan, or whatever you want to call it, or village, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
The women looked at the guys that were the other color and said, they look kind of cute. And the guys looked at looked at the women on the other side, and they said, wow, the girls are kind of cute. And thusly, we became all these colors. It was the opposite of hate, in a good way,
right?
In the best way that you can imagine.
Until it became whatever it became today. And so we got to we got to get back, right?
Yeah.
We got to get back to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's all about sharing the apples, apples were, you can pick them right off the tree, you know, but, they were in the area they were in. So if you had, let's say, access to beef, and the other people had access to apples, you could trade, right? You could trade it. But when we go, let's go get all the apples,
right?
That's where the problem starts. And it's the same now. For me, the human race is a race. Literally, it's different ethnic groups racing for goodies, racing for fresh water,
right?
Technology, all the things that someone would need.
Yeah.
And so, since it's a race, then look what's happening, right? Because it's not mankind. Now, when we become mankind and not races, I think things would be a lot better, because we'd be kind enough to give to those who don't have. It takes kindness, right?
Do we get this? Do we get the deep message in the book when we read it?
It's not deep like that. You can. It's right there with all the rest of the spaghetti and meatballs.
Yeah. Okay.
Better go Italian real quick. Spaghetti and meatballs and stromboli. You know what I mean? Stromboli. You know what I mean? Sauce.
Always on.
Yeah, sauce. Sauce. I'm gonna have to say that Italian culture is the only culture that you can be half of. You know what I mean? Not a whole fag. You know what I mean? Billy, who you talking about? Billy who? The half of, you know what I mean? Oh, him.
Oh,
half.
Tommy.
Half. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. That's the half of it. You know what I
mean? You move like a butterfly and you sting like a bee.
Right?
Hey, Tommy.
Me the hell up. How can you be half of
You move like a butterfly and you sting like a bee, Tommy.
Hey, that's a great compliment.
Look, so you got the book. You also have a men's accessory clothing line called Tongue in Cheek.
I love clothes, love dressing nice. Love clothes, love dressing nice.
Yeah.
And wanted to come up with some affordable clothing for men. And I started with accessories.
Right on.
And I'm going to go from there. And then once men's done, then I'll go into women's. And then once women's done, I'll go into children.
Oh, wow.
I mean, at least that's the plan. So I started out pretty good because my stuff cost $10 to $20. It does look good. And it's a great start. It's a great start.
Yeah. So if I like when I know when I went to thetommydavidson.com and then there's a link in there that says I was like tongue in cheek and I check it out and I'm like, hey, these are nice threads. What's going on here?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Affordable men's accessories, and you got a plan to expand that. So that's pretty cool. In 2022, you got involved in the Disney hit and Emmy Award winning The Proud Family, Louder and Prouder. You play an animated character called Oscar. And
Judy!
Oscar's a business owner, a husband, a father, and he gets into trouble and he causes trouble and he just has a whole bunch of adventures. Is there are you Oscar and is Oscar you? Are there some similarities?
Yeah, there is a lot of them. I'm a father. You know, I'm a little bit on the crazy side. I get a foot in my ass, you know, constantly, you know, from society and people and my kids. You know, hey, you know, can be a crash test dummy sometimes, but I love them. You know, you can't take the me out of family, man, at all. I told my daughter, you know, you're going to be 18 and I become insubstantial. You can make whatever decisions that you want to make.
Yeah.
But there's one thing that you can't do. She said, what? Get rid of me.
I love it. As a dad of two daughters, I love it.
Yep. And they're the ones especially need to know that.
Yeah. What's ignited the popularity of Oscar and the Proud Family? What's ignited the popularity all the way to an Emmy Award? Why do you think that is?
Because it's very good, very, 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 very good in every way. It's there's nothing that is different from any typical family. Love supreme. Love supreme. Top of the ladder. Can't do better.
So we're connecting with the common family.
The common family, you know.
Yeah.
The human family is a human family too. You know. The four guys from England, you know. All we need is love. All we need is love. All we need is love. Love. Love is all we need. Love is all we need. Love is all we need. You
know. You made me clap.
You know.
So Oscar, Tommy.
Yeah.
Look, you got the book, you got the closing, you got the show. Now you got the music. And but before we get to the music, I wasn't sure about asking you about this, but whatever. I'm gonna ask you. I was like, one of my buddies was like, one of the colleagues, he's like, yeah, you're interviewing Tommy. He's like, I'm pretty sure he got knocked out by Will Smith. And I said, no, I don't think he got knocked out. I said, you're thinking of Chris Rock and the thing on the TV. And he's like, no, man, I'm telling you. He's like, Tommy got knocked out. I'm like, I don't think he got knocked out. I'm like, I've never seen anything where the man got knocked out by Will Smith. I'm like, you guys are taking this to another level, right? So then I was like, well, do I ask him? Do I not ask him? So I'm asking, did you fight Will Smith? Is that what I'm hearing? No. Okay, so there we go. There's no fight.
Yeah, he confronted me. He confronted me. How do I put this really objectively? He confronted me with a physically threatening posture.
Oh.
I said that really well.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got to
So,
write that down and borrow
in
it.
other words, I saw that in him before he did it. Chris didn't. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? I saw his tendency, and I intercepted his tendency. He probably would have knocked me out. He's been huge.
Really?
Yeah, he's huge. But I've been undefeated since I was 27. So
I said, move like a butterfly, sting like a bee. There you have it.
Yeah. And not, you look at the physics there, and hey, man, that dude.
So
but what the best defense was how much I love him. I just loved him during that. I used love as the weapon.
You
hey man, I
diffused.
I don't know why you're doing this or whatever, but you gotta know I love you, man.
You diffused whatever it was. Was it over Jada again, or was that the crux of it, or?
No. I won't give away. I guess I got to give away some of the book, but it was because
it's okay.
It was because of a misunderstanding.
Got it. Okay.
A misunderstanding of a situation that me and Jada were in professionally.
Got it. Got it.
I didn't have his wife's name in my mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got it.
Which could have happened. Which could have happened at any time. Hey Jada, pow! Okay, I won. What was that for? I need you to keep that name out of your mouth. But I will say this, that I love Will Smith for a very important reason. I think he's a winner. He's a very good person. I've known him for years. And the best thing about Will is that he's a high achiever, but he knows he's not perfect. He knows it.
Right.
He knows that. Like he really does. He really knows that. His family shows that.
Look, man, whatever.
He's a pretty damn genuine person, man.
Yeah, I just, you see that stuff, and I hope it works out for him in the best way that it needs to work out for Will Smith.
He's gentle, man. He's gentle. That dude is caring. That dude, he gives about people. I'm telling the truth here.
Yeah, and you know what, Tommy? Sometimes it's easy for us to look at a 30-second moment in somebody's life and judge what we think it is or isn't.
Right.
And there might be a whole lot more that we haven't seen or lived and things like that. So, like I said, man, I'm glad your approach and maybe more people need to do that is learn how to. Learn how to turn around the confrontation, and do something.
Yeah, or if if things are going to happen.
Yeah,
things are going to happen, and what do you do with the happen?
Right.
What do you do with the happen? And I believe the universe gives us the right to take any action, but it has the right to a reaction.
Right. And it's funny because I think Jada's putting out a book soon or something.
It's out.
She already put it out.
Yeah.
So I thought, I saw that and I thought, oh great, Will's gonna go through another whatever he's gonna go through with that out. So it's the story right now that keeps on giving. But I'm glad that you weren't the first, Chris Rock in some sense, of that. So,
there's a lot of money. There's a lot of money in stories.
There is. Yeah.
There's a lot of money in stories, man. She could put out something and people want to know her feeling something. People want to know she's a great person. She's a really good friend. And if she puts something on the shelf, that here is a book.
Yeah.
You're going to get the human experience at its finest.
Yeah.
You know,
We're
people
curious.
who don't know her.
We're curious
People
cats.
who never met her in their life, never going to,
Yeah.
can get some real good insight out of a real good person.
We're
I
curious.
guarantee it.
We're all curious cats, right, Tommy? So I mean,
Yep.
really.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Even though curiosity kill them out. You know.
So I said, I want to talk a little bit about the music. You've been busy with the book and the animated series, et cetera, et cetera. But you have an EP from 2022 titled "Sweet Reunion Remixes." You also got a couple of singles out, I know, and then your new one this year in 2023, Kid Zero.
Mm-hmm.
What's
one even newer called Lausanne. So we're there. We're there.
You're doing it. You're doing it regular. How do we get to smooth music Tommy Davidson? Like what's is this the next version of Tommy Davidson, or?
Yeah, it is. It's something that has been cooking from the very beginning, way before comedy. And me being involved in music and wanting to sing has been there from the very beginning. It's the first gift. Wow. It's the first gift. Yeah. Howard helped me enhance that by bringing attention to a talent I had. And it took patience, a lot of patience, and a lot of work to finally turn back to it and be able to do it at the same level, you know?
I'm loving the sound. I have to admit, the other night I had Kid Zero on. I was doing the Spotify thing. I was doing some desk work. And it just gave me it made me feel good. Like I was listening to it and I felt like I was accomplishing stuff. The vibe of it or whatever. What's making that happen? What's making that happen? And then here's the other part I don't know. What are the roots and meaning of Kid Zero? Am I supposed to be feeling good when I'm listening to it?
Yeah. Kid Zero is all of us, you know?
Huh.
Kid Zero, we can't be something and come from nothing. It's scientifically impossible. But what is nothing? So when we count, we go from nothing to one.
Right.
But we can count to infinity. So it looks like zero is that. It's from there. It just seems like it's a circle, right? So we're all Kid Zero, and then it's biographically, it is. Autobiographically, it is. My story is Kid Zero because how I was left, how I was found. And it's my story ends up being the story of race in this country. The cover of Kid Zero is a painting of John Brown, the abolitionist, who took his sons and a bunch of people who believed that slavery was wrong in Missouri and Kansas and tried to wipe it out themselves, got to Harper's Ferry, got slaughtered, trying to get more ammunition. That's a painting of him coming out of the courtroom with an African-American slave woman having her son kiss him on the cheek.
Yeah.
So I wanted to illustrate that there is well-meaning white people too.
Thank you.
That are full of love. For other people. That are full of love and only love for other people. So I kind of wanted to balance it out.
Yeah.
The dirty deeds are on everyone's hands.
Yeah.
It's just that we're in this century Civilization's pretty old. It's pretty old. I mean, we can go back 3,000 years.
Yeah.
Of recorded us, and in that 3,000 years, we've all played the jackass. All of us. You know what I mean?
You're right. It's funny. I do a little bit of hobby music work, and I was working on something actually called Uncle Jackass. So maybe I'll have to share that with you at some point. But I love it. And you went down the path of, I was going to bring up the cover, and you probably knew I was going to do that and read my mind, because
but nobody asked that. But I'm ready for the answer. So I don't want to get it out there and be like, here's this, here's that. I just want to set it on the table. I want to set it on the table.
No, but
and have it be reached for, as opposed to here it is, and because I don't really know if that is true or not, but I'm here for my own truth.
The cover made me think, like, I kept looking at it over and over. It's one of these covers where I'm like, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, and I'm looking at the title, and I'm going,
wow, whoever this is making us look at that.
Right, and then you got the zero, and like,
right.
your explanation of it.
Yeah, he's making us look at that.
Yeah.
He's making us think about that. He's making us want to know, what is that?
But you did. That's what I'm saying, is before you even told me any of this, you did, right? And so, and I'm glad that, like I said, as I was listening to it and then realized how much I enjoyed it and liked it, and I was feeling good. And then I went back and looked at the cover, and then I thought, was I supposed to feel good? Like, was I supposed to feel good? Right. And then I'm like, I gotta have, I'm wondering about that. So it's right on. It's a great tune.
I meant to do that.
Right on.
I meant to do that. Wildflowers, la da da, the little girls, la da 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 da. That they're 7, 9, and 10 years old.
Oh, wow.
White girls from Phoenix.
Wow. Right on.
Whom I love to death and have performed with me before, and I needed to mix up the perfect soup. The perfect soup.
Tommy, you said we're going to get more music from you.
Oh yeah. I'm in. The smooth jazz is my entrance.
So are we looking at more singles throughout the year? Are we looking at an album? Are we?
Yeah, there's an album. There's an album coming.
Okay.
In 2024.
Right on. Okay, listen, I'll say thank you. I know I probably kept you a lot longer. TheTommyDavidson.com is the website. Yeah. Thank you for chatting with me tonight, sharing your talents and stories.
Man, it was great.
And
I want to say one more thing. I love Canada for one important reason. They don't say this person's Black, this person's East Indian, this person is Italian, this person is. They say I'm Canadian.
I'm Canadian. Welcome to Canada. That is superstar comedian, actor, author, designer, artist, entertainer, inspiration for all, Tommy Davidson. Whether you are living in color with us on our audio show or watching this living color on our YouTube channel, you have had the opportunity to be louder and prouder with Tommy by your side.
Nice.
We'll have some Tommy's new music coming up in the show. Plus, I'll have all his contact links in the show notes. Thank you again, Tommy. Hope we can catch up again. Take care.
Man, thank you, man. Great interview, man. The better the questions, the better the interview.
Thank you, Tommy. Love you. Take care.
Thank you, buddy. Have a good one.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
That sure was a fun chat that I had with Tommy Davidson. I went in thinking I would ask a certain set of questions. We would have a certain type of conversation. And while I was able to cover that off, he's just so dynamic and he can take you in so many different areas. But even though he does that, he knows exactly where he's starting and where he's ending, and it's just a testament to the talent that he is, and how fortunate that we've been to have him entertain us in so many different ways, and now with his music. And so I'm very grateful for that opportunity. And let's listen. He talked a little bit about the song. Let's listen to one of his new songs. Here is Tommy Davidson with Kid Zero. Again, thank you to Tommy Davidson with his new song, Kid Zero. I'll have all the links in the show notes so that you can connect with Tommy and his new music and all the things that we talked about. Now, before we get on to our next segment, let's hear from one of our friends of the podcast, Chasers Fresh Juice.
Hi, I'm Richard Chase, introducing Chasers Fresh Juice, a local business in Toronto. We've been in business for over 20 years, initially supporting our local Toronto area and now servicing all of Canada. Chasers provides fresh organic juices, ingredients including citrus zest, dehydrated garnishes, and fresh citrus peels to enhance any cocktail or recipe you can think of. We have successfully supplied restaurants, distilleries, craft breweries, and bakeries across the country. Reach out to orders@chasersjuice.com for any questions you may have. We are a customized fresh juice company, and I'm sure we can help you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Richard, and Chasers Fresh Juice, supplying Greater Toronto area and all over Canada too. You can find his products at many different restaurants and other locations. Richard's a fantastic guy, and so is the product. Now, talking about the rest of Canada, we're going to head out to the East Coast with our next guest. Here is country music star Jolene Harnish.
Nova Scotia, out on the Canadian East Coast, is known for its lighthouses and lobsters, its high tides and shoreline cliffs on the Bay of Fundy, and vineyards and trails. It's also home to Jolene Harnish, rising country music star, and our guest today, who has just released her new single titled after something else that's popular in Nova Scotia, blueberries. So let's go blueberry picking with Jolene. Welcome to the show, Jolene. How are you today?
Hello. I'm good. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
So let me clear something up before we go any further. Jolene or Jolene?
It's Jolene.
Jolene.
But I suppose if you were French, you would say Jolene, which sounds really pretty, doesn't it?
Well, either way, Jolene. Now, is this of Dolly Parton fame, Jolene, or is it?
It is. I was actually supposed to be a Jennifer. And then my parents' friends had their baby first and named her Jennifer. So my dad was pretty happy about that because he wanted me to be Jolene. So he got his way. He was a big Dolly Parton fan. Yeah.
I was just throwing a dart at the dartboard there, but I wasn't planning on asking you that. But then I thought, I'll make sure I'm pronouncing right. So cool. Lineage to Dolly. I love it. So look, the other thing is you might be my first Nova Scotian guest. And I'm kind of excited because then I can truly say that I've gone coast to coast. I spent a lot of time with guests in Vancouver and here in Ontario and in mid Canada, but I don't think I've ever gone this far on the other side of the coast. So
welcome. We're happy to have you.
You're there right now, right?
I am. Yeah, I'm in Halifax, Dartmouth area.
That's awesome. So can you share something with us that you love about Nova Scotia, or that we can share with our global listeners?
Oh, wow. I think the scenery, like the ocean, is the biggest thing for me. Like there's so many things, but we have so much real estate on the ocean. So that's what I really love the most. Besides, my family and friends, but the ocean.
Is it, you spend a lot of time looking out at the ocean or near the ocean and things? Yeah.
I do. I actually live like overlooking the ocean here.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. And I kind of grew up that way. Like I'm from a small fishing village. So, so I grew up on on the water.
So you're the girl we see in all the fishing movies that off the coast of Nova Scotia then, right?
A little bit.
That's cool. So look, we didn't get together to talk about fishing, although it sounds pretty cool. We got to talk together about music. But before I get too deep into your music career, I wanted to ask you about your childhood music roots. And I understood that when you were a child, you get some practice time in at your parents' parties. And how did it come to be that you would perform for your parents' guests? Like, how did that start?
My poor parents. God love them. They were so supportive. It started at a really young age. Like I think I was 7 when I first started singing. So my brother took up playing the guitar. And Well, when he did that, I just, I started singing. So it all kind of started there, us putting, at first they would make us perform for their friends, and I would not like that. I rebelled. I did not want to be made to sing in front of their friends and family. And then the little bit older I got, and I think I realized like I was kind of getting some fun attention, and I was quite enjoying, being the entertainment. So it got to the point where when they would have their friends come over for card nights and social time, I would want my first like 10 or 15 minutes to do my show. And that could be comedy, singing, lip singing, whatever it was I could do to get a rise out of them. And it was kind of cool in our house. Like with the way the house was built, like there was like a second, like kind of step up a level above the dining room. So that was my stage. So yeah, so they would give me my 10 or 15 minutes to do my thing. And, then my dad came up with a code word, and he would tell me, okay, Jolene, it's time to go pick blueberries. And that meant to get lost, because I was always forever picking blueberries. I love them. And it became the running joke in the family that whenever Jolene became a little bit too much, it was time to go pick blueberries.
And we're gonna talk. We're gonna get into the blueberries thing. At any point, did they think about charging a cover charge to guests, like to sort of?
Yeah. It's funny they didn't, because my dad was a entrepreneur. We were my family's all entrepreneurs, basically. So being a businessman, and surprised that he didn't try to capitalize on that.
So look, we talked a little bit here about Nova Scotia and where you're at, and you've been on this country music road that's taken you from Nova Scotia across to Toronto. You spent a little bit of time in Nashville, and then you kind of come back around the mountain, if you will. And now you took some residence in Toronto. Look, between the three places, how do you compare life in Nova Scotia to Toronto, and then your experience in Nashville?
Oh, wow. Three totally different lifestyles for sure. Like Nova Scotia is just, it's a slower pace. It's a little more relaxed. The sense of urgency really isn't there. Toronto, I spent 6 years in Toronto, and that was where I got I gained a lot. I think as a young person moving to a bigger city, it's one of the best things you can do for yourself, because you get to see all the diversity of all these different cultures and work ethics and everything life just going crazy around you. So that was a lot. And I learned a lot there. And then when I went to Nashville, I just went for a short time. That was kind of a little in between, like it was a lot more corporate than I thought it was going to be when I first got there, but very friendly, very welcoming. Like I had a great experience there. I met a lot of people. I got out and did a lot of songwriter circles, and it was a really good experience. I really liked the vibe of Nashville a lot, actually. Yeah.
That's interesting. I've talked to a few country artists who've made it down to Nashville, and for whatever amount of time that they have spent there, you all say something very similar. It's so welcoming. It was so, and we got into these, writer circles, and everybody worked together. And I like, it kind of takes me by surprise, because I think, aren't y'all competing against each other? And but everybody seems welcoming and supporting of each other's acts and things like that. And there just seems so much of it. So that's kind of neat. And then your perspective on Toronto, right? I mean, Toronto to Nova Scotia seems like night and day in terms of the pace, maybe.
Oh my gosh, total night and day. It really is, yeah. But such a good thing.
Did Toronto influence some of your music at all? Like, did the experience work itself into the music?
Yeah, because it's where I really kind of cut my chops in a way, right? Like I got out, and I actually was the lead singer of a rock band, believe it or not. And we did a lot of shows in Toronto, and I sang genres and music and songs that I typically wouldn't sing. So that was a great experience. And it's where I seriously started recording also. Like I started working with an independent label there, and some other artists in country that were doing quite well in country at the time. Like, I don't know if you remember, like the John Landrys and Jamie Warren, Beverly Mohood, and all that bunch. I was with that same group. And Thomas Wade from Thomas Wade and Wayward was my producer. So it was where I really started diving into writing and recording and actually like molding myself to be an artist. So it was a lot at once, but it was a great experience. So it definitely somewhat prepared me.
So is that you end up cutting your first EP called You're Starting Something? Is that, does Toronto bring that to life, or is that something else?
No, but that's the tool that got me there. So that was the first EP I ever cut, and I did it here in Halifax. Oh. Yeah, so it was my first time in the studio. It's a little privately owned studio. And yeah, so by cutting that EP, that led me to headlining there's a big festival here in Nova Scotia, in my hometown, actually. It's called the Stan Rogers Folk Festival. And it's worldwide. It's known worldwide. And it attracts artists and fans from all over the world. And I got to headline it 1 year. And so from doing that show, I met a bunch of other artists from Ontario and from this particular group of country artists that I wanted to be with in Ontario. And afterwards they said to me, you really should probably move. To get out of here. Your next step would be to move on. So I took their advice. That was it. Packed my car and off I went to Ontario. And that's when I got hooked up with Ricut and that bunch at Cedar Tree at the time. And so that little EP it opened the door that led me to the next step at that time.
So I had it reversed. I thought it happened the other way around, but it happened with the EP, and then you made the move. So that's cool. And now when you do that and you do the Toronto thing, and then you do your travel and you go to Nashville, there's a bit of a gap in your music making. Was that a planned break from country music or making songs or just being on the road? And what brought you back?
Yeah, so it wasn't really a planned break, but I think I just got to a point where things were starting to progress a bit, and I didn't feel like I was, I think, really ready. And I was struggling a bit just with being in Toronto. And I was kind of at a point where I'm like, what do I want to do here? Do I want to stay here, or do I want to go back to Nova Scotia? And I just decided, there's some financial things too, right, that happen along the way. You got to make these hard adult decisions. I decided to go back to Nova Scotia. And so I just, I took a little bit of a break. I did continue to write. I did continue to, I did record. I released a single. And then I just kind of backed away a little bit because life kind of took over, and I dove into a career and a relationship and all those real life things. Yeah. Which when I look back now is great because it gave me a whole lot to write about, so yeah, I guess I just say life just kind of happened, and I stepped back from it, and I focused on the real adult responsibilities, and yeah.
But the fire burns, and it was always in you, and you carried it with you, and then here you find yourself in 2020, and you end up launching an apparel line, and the apparel line is called Staycation. And you have a website called staycationapparel.com. And then and by the way, awesome apparel, by the way. I was looking through it. It looks so cool. I want to know more about this in a second here. The apparel, it also inspires a new single called Staycation. And listeners can hear that on joleneharnish.com, and they can stream that anytime too. So what brings about the Staycation clothing line and then inspires the song?
Yeah, so this is pretty cool, actually. So I own my own promotional product company. That's my full-time gig, what I do. So when the pandemic hit, my business really slowed a lot. So I had time on my hands. I pivoted a bit and I did PPE stuff, and that kept me going. But I had all this time on my hands, and then I started looking and watching and seeing what was going on around. And I'm like, you know what? This is an opportunity. Like, we have so much beauty in our own backyards that we don't need to hop on a plane. We don't need to be going far distances to find like a nice vacation or a retreat or whatnot. So I thought we need to educate people and we need to support local, and what a great time to do that. So I had this idea, well, you know what, maybe I should start this line called Staycation Apparel, and the tagline is love where you live. And really, and the other thing too is I wanted to educate people on Canadian made and how, you're still supporting local businesses when you're buying clothing that might not necessarily be made in Canada, but they're still stocked and warehoused in Canada. There's just a whole part of that, the side of the apparel industry. So within record time, I don't know how I did this, but within 2 months, I basically put together a brand and got all the clothing pieces and everything made, got the website up and running. And of course I had to use all my friends and family for photos and myself because we were in a bubble and we couldn't go anywhere. So I got the apparel line up and going, and I decided I needed some help. So I hired this girl to help me with the marketing. And as we were getting to know each other, she said, well, did you say you used to be a singer, or you were a singer songwriter? And I said, yeah, I was, or I am, or I was. And she said, well, why don't you write a staycation song? And I thought, man, that could be probably a good idea. So I left the meeting, I hopped in my truck, I hit record on my phone, and I just started. I just started scatting all these lyrics and melodies and piecing it together. And I'm like, geez, I think I have something here. So I got a real charge out of it. And then I somewhat had it, pretty much halfway written or so. And I thought I should probably maybe call one of my songwriter buddies up and just see if he's interested in looking at this with me. Cause I was a little bit, I'm rusty, right? I haven't done it in a while, wrote any songs in a while. So I got together with him and we collaborated, and he helped me finish it up. And I'm like, well, this is pretty good. Like, maybe I should record it. So I did that. And then I thought, maybe I'll release it to radio and just see how that goes. And I did. And then satellite, like CBC, picked it up. And I'm like, okay, well, I should do a music video. That'll be fun. I just kind of went for it. And then everything kind of lit up in me. And to be honest, after all that happened, I just sat back and took a good hard look at my life. And I was just in a place where I wasn't happy. I wasn't being true to myself. The music is what was missing all this time. And, from there, I kind of blew up my relationship and blew up everything. And that's where the next single, Heart Too Big to Break, came from. Mm-hmm. I found a whole new team, and I just decided, you know what? Life is too short, and I'm not done yet. Like I've never lost my passion and my gift for this. And it's such a big part of me. And I kind of shut it down for a while, and I thought, no more. I'm going to reignite the fire and just go for it.
I think it's interesting. It's like it was percolating, and you're pushing it down, and it's percolating, and it found its way back to you and said, look here I am, and deal with it. And this is what you're going to do. And then you kind of went, oh, yeah, okay, I'm pouring a cup of coffee here. I'm doing it.
So. Yeah, exactly. And you know what? Like, and I'll be honest, I looked at my age, if I'm being really honest. And I know a lot of women will talk about this because we're all trying to, use filters and try to be something. It's the industry. And, I'm not doing that. I got back into this when I was 46, and I'm 48 now. And I want to be an inspiration to people that think that just because they stopped doing something that they really loved before, it's never too late to start it again. Don't do that to yourself. There's no rule. There's no, just follow your heart, follow your dreams.
You know what? I'm glad you said that. And before we hit the record button, we were joking around a little bit about age and stuff like that. And it seems like such a taboo subject for everybody all the time. Yeah. But you're taking it head on, and you're embracing it, and you're saying, this is where I'm at, this is who I am, and this is what you're getting. And it's okay. It's all okay, right? Because you're coming from a true place for everybody. as you're showing us yourself. Look, staycation with you said it was doing very well. It got national radio play as well, but you start working with I believe Roberta Michelle. She's one of Canada's top tier accomplished songwriters, producer. She's a vocal coach. What does Roberta do for you when you start working with her?
Oh my gosh, I love this woman. She's, I reached out to her, and to me it was like kind of like a long shot, because I had been following her for about a year or so, that I had discovered her through another artist that I'm a big fan of. And I just sent her an email one day, and I was just real. I was just like, you know what? It's time to just level shit up. Like, I'm just, it's time. It's time to go to the next level and really put myself out there and really dig deep. And she resonated with that. And we completely clicked and hit it off. And she just, I don't know, I can just totally let it all out with her. And she believes in me, and she's so passionate about it. And she's just so talented. She's a beautiful person. And we just make a really good team. I'm so grateful for her.
Sounds like you got a booster from her.
I really did. Like, she just loves the fact that I'm just being so authentic and honest about who I am and where I'm at in life. And, when we started working on my EP called Courage in the Chaos, which we're going to talk about, but that's exactly what it is. It's, life is chaotic at times, and I'm ADHD, so there's a lot going on. And, so that's in the first song too, right? It's just really honest, and really, really at the end of the day, I just want it to really be inspiring. So she's helping me do that.
So you continue working with her, and you release a song called Heart Too Big earlier this year in 2023. And then after working with Roberta, you still have more songs coming, as you've been hinting as we're talking here. But you just released another one called Blueberries. And back to our earlier Blueberries conversation, we're going to hear both songs here on the Monthly Social, and listeners can also enjoy them on thepathradio.com. This is just a small taste. You've got a bigger release coming in 2024?
Yeah, so we're finishing up the EP. It's just taken a lot longer than we thought, but probably I would say March of 2024 we'll have it completed. So we actually just got off of a writing session before our call tonight. I'm pretty excited about it.
Wow. That's cool. You came to us right after working on stuff. This is awesome.
Yeah. It's good. It's all good.
So EP, how many songs are we looking at?
6 songs.
6?
Yeah. So we have 4 ready. So we're working on the last 2.
Right on. Exciting times. You're going to let us know. I hope we'll see those come down the line, and we can hear those. Excited about that.
Yeah.
Jolene, when we started and you talked about Blueberries and how your dad would just say, he'd give you this code name of Blueberries and you'd take off or whatever. Is there more to Blueberries other than the code name when you wrote the song? Or?
Yeah, for sure. So, first off, like, this song is super special. Like, I lost my dad 7 years ago. So unfortunately he's not here to hear the song, which I know he's listening. So, but what's so special about it is that we took the metaphor, like, for the sweetness of the blueberries and how really sweet it really was. Like, I didn't realize it when I was younger, but I do now, that it was so sweet that they gave me that time to do my thing and encouraged me to do that. And we're always encouraging me to do that. So we just took the supportive and sweet messaging of that and the blueberries, like, to go out and find the things that need to be found in life. Like, fill your basket, get low to the ground, find out what it is you really want, and, go find it. It's not going to come find you. You have to go get it. It's just a really sweet message in the song. I just love it.
And paying homage to your dad. So there's a line in that song. It goes something like, "Kind of girl to drive till the fuel light comes on."
Oh, yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
you?
It is me. It's what actually my best friend. It's her pet peeve with me because I am famous for that. She has to, as soon as the level hits half a tank, she's filling it back up. And not me. I'm like the rebel, so I have to go. And as soon as that light goes on, I'm still driving. So that is truly me. And at the time we wrote the song, I had just broke up a 6-year relationship, and I was packing up the house, surrounded in boxes, getting ready to load a U-Haul truck, right? So, writing is a real therapy session, and I was basically unloading and just talking about like where I am right now and what led me to this point. And it's finding the courage and all that, right? And yeah, I've always been the girl to drive till a fuel light comes on, for sure.
How far can you go when it does come on, Jolene?
Well, they say you have 40 kilometers usually. And I bet I'm at least going to about 30. I've not run out yet, though. I've not run out yet.
You qualify it with a yet. I love it. So look, have you done a lot of blueberry picking too? Is that
gosh.
Yeah.
Did I ever, as a child, as a kid, I really did. And to this day, like I eat a ton of blueberries, and those blueberries are quite pricey now, but I eat a lot of them.
Well,
I love them.
You lived in Toronto. I don't know if you ever drove up on the highways like north or whatever towards North Bay. North Bay, Sudbury. You start to see everybody put out their blueberry baskets along the side of the highway, and you pull over and you buy it. And I've been driving those highways for a few years now myself, and I remember the basket when it used to cost $10. And then 15, and then 20, and then this year it was like 40.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right? So, but are the Nova Scotia blueberry, are they bigger? Are they, because you're known for blueberries. Are they just a bigger berry or?
Well, it depends, because you have wild blueberries, right? Which are like, they're small. They're quite a bit smaller. The ones you get in the store. What's that?
But you got the sweetness going on of the blueberry there.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Definitely. They taste better if you ask me. Especially when you can pick and eat at the same time.
Yeah, tons. Maybe we'll get some blueberries. I'm craving them now that we keep talking about them. You talked about the name of the EP that's coming up, Courage in the Chaos. And you started to reflect a little bit about it. Can you give us a little bit more? Are you in the chaos, and did you find your courage in the chaos? Is that?
I did find it. Yeah. And I mean, a lot of things are like, we have a lot of fear as adults, I think, right? And the chaos part of it is just, a life. And then sometimes making these really tough decisions, like whether you're ending a relationship or you're moving or your career or whatever it may be. And I think for me, like the age thing was one of the things, like to dive back into this at this point in my life. But at this point in my life, I feel more ready for it than I've ever been. And I think it's kind of cool that I get to reflect back and write about all these things that got me to this point that people can hopefully relate to.
Does being out in Nova Scotia or being Canadian play at all into Courage in the Chaos?
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, there's a couple of different ways to look at that, right? I think as a Canadian independent artist, tough. It's really tough. And it does take a lot of tenacity and courage, especially to go out and do something on your own, right? As an independent.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess maybe in that way, maybe.
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
Your new material is going to come out in 2024. You've got the apparel, which I'm imagining you're going to have apparel if you go on the road and do shows. You're going to have your apparel with you. right?
Well, you would think so. To be really honest, I haven't worked the apparel line too much
Oh,
as of
wow.
late because, yeah, I know it's kind of just been sitting there because I've gotten so busy with everything else that, you know, something something had to go on the back burner for a little while. But because I'm a creative person and I'm in the apparel business, I do have a lot of ideas when it comes to doing merch for my music, for my releases. Have some cute ideas for that. So one never knows what you will see with me.
I'm hoping we see a blueberry t-shirt version of the staycation. So just throwing it out there, you know.
Yeah, been a thought for sure.
What else is in the house that Jolene built for fans to look forward to this year? Then you got the EP.
Yeah, the EP's coming, gonna be finished. More shows. Working on doing some more shows. We did start doing a little theater tour here, myself and another artist friend of mine, and we did a couple. We started in our hometowns, and that was a lot of fun. So we may extend that into the new year. Yeah, I'd like to get into doing maybe some more festivals coming up in the summer. And that's about all I can share at the moment.
Any chance we'll see you in Ontario?
Yes, possibly. Yes.
All right.
There might be something coming up actually in Oshawa in March.
And we'll get tickets online for that, or?
Yes, it'll be promoted online.
Yay.
Yeah. So I'll personally reach out to you if this is going to come into fruition. It'll be pretty cool if it does.
All right. Well, we're going to look forward to that. And hopefully it's not that far. So hopefully we can connect there and see a really good show. I just got a new cowboy hat, so I'll be wearing it. I did.
There you go. Perfect opportunity. Yeah.
I was going to wear it tonight, but I thought, I'm going to wait in person. So Jolene, I want to thank you for being on the show and for sharing your songs and your stories. Is there anything that you would like to leave us with before we close out the show?
Well, a big thank you for having me on your monthly social. And it was great to meet you. And anybody who would like to hear more Jolene, you can find me on iTunes and Spotify and Amazon and all those great things. YouTube channel. You mentioned the website, and I would, socials to go follow me along. Keep up with the chaos. And yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Finding and sharing courage in chaos with the help of family, blueberries, and connecting us across borders with her music and stories, our guest and rising country music star from Nova Scotia, Canada, Jolene Harnish. You can catch more of Jolene on joleneharnish.com or check out her cool apparel on staycationapparel.com. Stay tuned to hear songs here on the show today and on thepathradio.com. And I'm going to have all of her links in the show notes. Jolene, thank you again, and I hope you come back. And take care.
I'd love to. Thank you so much.
Let's keep the momentum going with Jolene Harnish, and here's one of her songs. Stay tuned for more later on in the show, but here is Heart Too Big to Break.
Say quiet, sit still, you're a wild child girl. Better listen to what you've been told. A free spirit rebel, getting into trouble. 'Cause I didn't quite fit the mold. So I started to believe what they told me I should be. For years it was shutting me down. But I got a heart too big to break. Took my best mistakes, turned regrets into grace. Got those chips and rings pumping through my veins, knocking down my walls, giving me the space for a heart too big, a heart too big to break.
is Jolene Harnish out on the east coast of Canada, coming to you from Nova Scotia with Heart Too Big to Break. Like I said, stay tuned for more of Jolene's songs as we go through our show. Now, before we get to our next segment, let's hear from one of our friends of the podcast, Lee's Fine Cars.
Whether it's buying a new car or a quick oil change, Lee's Fine Cars and Service Center has got you covered. Proudly serving the GTA for over 30 years as your one-stop automotive source for sales, service, and bodywork. Come visit us at 87 Green Lane, conveniently located just south of Bayview and 407, or online at leesfinecars.com.
Welcome to another special edition, exclusive edition of The Coach's Call right here on the Monthly Social. And I said last time we would be doing more of these types of exclusives here on the show. The Coach's Call can be heard on youtube.com/at The Coach's Call. And that comes in video format. So, but we said, look, I'm going to cover off some exclusive topics here on the Monthly Social and give you some sports as well. So there's three things that I wanted to cover during this show. First, in the news a lot, on Twitter a lot, Corey Perry. Corey Perry of the Chicago Blackhawks. Sorry, formerly of the Chicago Blackhawks, because at the time of this recording, he's been released by the team. His contract has been terminated. He cleared waivers, and so they terminated him. If you don't know, and we all really don't know about what's happened with Corey Perry and the Chicago Blackhawks, there's a lot of speculation, but at some point he was asked to not suit up for the team. He spent some time away from the team. There was a period of uncertainty in terms of whether the team was sitting him out or he was choosing to sit out due to personal reasons. That has not necessarily been cleared up, although there was some speculation online about a possible affair with somebody, one of the players' moms, if you will. Look, none of that has been confirmed. None. In fact, Kyle Davidson of the Chicago Blackhawks said this does not involve any other players or their family members. And he went on to say it's disgusting that even that type of conversation should take place. And Corey Perry has since come out and with his own statement and also said, look, I apologize. This doesn't involve any players or their families. He takes some accountability. We still don't know what it is, but at least he's released that statement. I think that the whole Twitter thing, the rumors that started on Twitter, maybe it was funny at first, maybe the first few comments, maybe in passing, but it's taken on a life of its own, the rumors have, and you've got personalities like Sean Avery weighing in on it, and then everybody's just trying to build on it. And look, not only does this involve Corey Perry, not only does it involve his teammates, not only does it involve their families when these rumors get spread about, and they are at this point just rumors. And so I think it's the ugly side of social media. And I'm going to talk about that in one of the segments later on in the show, the ugly side of social media, if you will. But I think that the rumors need to settle down. I don't think that they will. And part of it is that there just seems to be this lack of transparency about what really happened to Corey Perry. And when you don't want to tell people what happened, they want to know more. And they're going to make more noise about it. I'm not sure how this Corey Perry thing is going to end. And I'm not sure how this Chicago Blackhawk thing is going to end. Or what we will find out. Or what we won't. But I'm hoping for the sake of Corey and maybe the other players and their families that at a minimum, the rumors just stop. The next thing I want to talk about. and I'm sticking with the NHL here for a little bit, the double tap. I don't know that anybody was going to use the words double tap when it came to, scoring goals in the NHL, especially during a shootout. But in a recent game between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Florida Panthers, it was tied 1-1 going into overtime, still tied after overtime, went to shootout, and the Florida Panthers score the overtime winning goal. But wait, do they? Allegedly, apparently, and on the ice, it's a call to goal. But after video review, after the Toronto goalie was in the dressing room, after the majority of the benches had already cleared the ice, they were all called back. And the goal was called back too, because allegedly the Florida player did something called a double tap. A double tap is where the player shoots the puck on the goalie and there's a rebound and the player shoots again. And I get it. When you look at the replay, there's a bit of a puck bounce and the player touches the puck twice, but it's not really a rebound. I don't even know if the initial, when the puck left the stick, I don't even think it was a shot, to be honest. I think it was all one forward motion. But the NHL, in their infinite video review wisdom that is located in Toronto. Yes, Toronto. Video replay is located in Toronto. And so they deem it a double tap. If I take this literally, did the puck touch the stick twice? Yes. If I think about it in terms of the intent of how the rule was written with respect to a rebound, I don't consider this a rebound. And so I don't believe it's a double tap. I don't believe it's a double tap in any other game, likely. But I do believe it's a double tap for the Toronto Maple Leafs game and that video review. For the life of me, folks, I really can't figure out the NHL. For a long time, we've been hearing, we need more goals, we need the game more exciting, and then they do that, and they find ways to take away goals on what was otherwise a really nice shootout goal. Dumbfounded. Makes me not want to watch hockey. Makes me not want to watch Toronto Maple Leaf hockey sometimes when that happens. Sorry, Leaf fans. I apologize if you don't like those words, but I just want some clean games. I want some clean wins. Maybe get rid of this shootout, add extra minutes of overtime, or just go back to the way it was and finish in a tie. I have no problems with ties. No problems at all. All right, last topic on this exclusive Coach's Call here on the Monthly Social. Formula One. The Formula One season finally comes to a conclusion. Well, wait. The championship came to a conclusion months ago. Max Verstappen won again. Max Verstappen had a sizable lead, and we knew that he was going to be the champion months ago. Yet we had numerous races still left in the season. And all of the other teams, all of the other drivers weren't fighting for a championship, for the Drivers' Championship. They were fighting for Constructors' Championship points, for their cars, for their teams, so that the allocation of funds for next year could be higher than their competitors. I don't know if that's an exciting Formula One for me anymore. Max Verstappen had these incredible leads. Most races were decided within the first 10 laps. Teams were hoping for a safety car. They were hoping for another driver to actually crash so that a safety car would come out and it would change maybe the dynamics of pit stops and tire changes. And that's not competitive racing to me anymore. That's hoping, wishing, looking for luck to happen. And look, did Max have a great car? He had a fantastic car. Could you put another driver in that car and get the same results? I think Red Bull probably still would have won, and whoever was driving that car probably still would have won. Would they have won as maybe many races? I don't know. Speculative? Maybe not. Max is a good driver. He is. But you take Max Verstappen and put him any other car in that circuit this year, and he's not your world champion. So Red Bull made a really good car for Max Verstappen. His teammate, Checo, didn't fare as well as Max Verstappen. Is that Red Bull pouring everything into one driver? I'm not there. I don't know. But as a fan watching the race, boy, it's just got to me too boring. There wasn't as much passing. There was a couple of races where there was some exciting passing, but at that point, what are you passing for? Again, constructors, you're not going to win the championship. He was hundreds of points ahead of every other driver, right? Now, I look at some of the teams, and I've talked a lot about Red Bull, Ferrari. I've never seen that team get worse. Like they just keep getting worse. And it's not the drivers. Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz, those are two good drivers. I would say you put them in a good car. Those are two good drivers that you have there. But Ferrari, the car, just most races didn't have pace, wasn't reliable. They just weren't in the same class. And to boot, they should fire their entire strategy team. They had probably one of the worst strategies I have ever seen. And strategies being, when do we call for, how many pit stops do we do? When do we call them in? How do we set the car up? The absolute worst strategies I have ever seen for the Ferrari team, and maybe any racing team in Formula One. Okay. It's just, they were disastrous strategies. And I think that team needs an overhaul. The car needs an overhaul. The pit crew needs an overhaul. And for sure, the strategy team needs an overhaul as well. It'll be interesting to see where they land. So we've got Corey Perry, we've got the double tap, and we've got the Formula One. Those are my coach's call on this exclusive episode here on the Monthly Show. Take care. Okay, for this next segment, I want to share with you an article that I wrote on guidopirano.com/blog that talks about why people are angry online. And it really looks at social media and online behaviors. I'm exploring the reasons why people on social media are so angry and what perpetuates their participation in misinformation and disinformation. And you probably heard me talk about it last month in terms of the temperature of what's going on right now in the world and amongst each other. So I looked at some stats and whatnot and put together this article for you. So please have a listen. The angry temperature on social media has been increasing year over year. If you find yourself reading social media posts that are angrier, on the attack, or spreading misinformation and disinformation, you're not alone. In fact, what you're feeling is supported by studies that show there is an increase in negative emotions on social media, including anger. So why are people demonstrating greater anger and other emotional outbursts online? There can be several reasons for the display of online anger and other negative emotional outbursts towards others that range from being manipulated by social media, learned social behavior, envy, and personal self and life challenges. A study from Yale University that was published in the Science Advances journal suggests that online networks encourage us to express more moral outrage because it gets more likes than other interactions. An increase in interactions translates into profits for the social media company as it converts usage into advertising income. The angry user becomes a pawn for the online social media company, as encouragement reinforces the angry behavior, and the behavior continues to grow and spread among other users. Another study by Statistics Canada showed that around 1 in 8 users, or 12% to 14%, reported feeling anxious or depressed, frustrated or angry or envious of the lives of others. These types of posts can be found in political threads as people blame different political leaders and their political parties for their current life situation. The anger is often directed at both the leader and any supporters of that leader.
Sometimes the envy or jealousy is aimed at professionals who have a higher education, make more money, or are in an employment position the angry person knows they have not achieved and perhaps never will. Social media platforms also provide anonymity and a virtual barrier, making it easier to poke someone without any physical or other real retaliations. Anonymity and fear minimization gives those with a low self-esteem, low self-confidence, or even a lack of understanding in human behavior power they might not otherwise feel they have. A platform like X, formerly Twitter, is a tool that allows them to use their voice to be obnoxious or rude, making themselves feel powerful and strong. While they may garner a boost from others behaving the same way, it does little to help improve their overall self-esteem in any long-term manner. Sometimes the angry behavior is simply learned. This can be something that translated from the home environment or even early exposure to other like-minded people who gained likes and followers from using harsh words as their norm in online engagements. Over time, the behavior has become internalized, and they often continue to respond in the same manner when they feel enraged by situations beyond their control, comprehension, or willingness to separate fact from misinformation and disinformation. There is a difference between misinformation and disinformation, both of which can be the cause and effect of angry behavior. Misinformation is when false information is unknowingly distributed. Disinformation is when a person knows that the information they are sharing isn't factual at all, but still decides to share, post, and promote it. There are several reasons people may spread misinformation or disinformation. Social media provides an environment where people may develop their beliefs from the testimony of others, who they develop a trust relationship based on like-minded behaviors. Sometimes the ideas that are spread through online social learning are simply wrong, but based on those perceived trust relationships, the information continues to be shared. Social media platforms also reward users for sharing information. Users who share more and share content that attracts attention tend to increase their social media footprint. Users then continue to share misinformation or disinformation because they are conditioned to perceive the reward to be greater to them personally than the harm it may cause to others. A 2018 study showed that most young people don't have a good understanding of what constitutes fake news versus real news, and that they have trouble critically thinking about media and judging its credibility, especially online. That group that was demonstrating low media literacy is now 5 years older. They have had 5 years to further influence the next generation of online users as they continue to spread misinformation and disinformation, depending on their socioeconomic situation. Leaning further towards disinformation is the idea that people demonstrate partisanship, which is prejudice in favor of a cause or belief they may have, sometimes through motivated reasoning or even distrust of institutions, including traditional media. Their confirmation bias, which is the tendency to interpret new evidence as confirmation of their existing beliefs or theories, further solidifies their partisanship and identity. The reason for demonstrating angry behavior, coupled with those elements that fuel misinformation and disinformation, can and have created a new standard on social media that is interpreted as freedom of speech, or as a set of facts that are truer than the facts of others who don't share the same view, therefore making those facts false. While there are strategies to try and have meaningful, factual exchanges, like focusing on the point of the argument, keeping the exchange simple, not introducing new topics or changing the focus, avoiding name-calling and other shaming, and providing real, defensible evidence, there must be a willingness from both parties to achieve a fair exchange. Those fair exchanges seem fewer as the anger temperature rises.
In a recent post, one user wrote, "It made breakfast TV? That's a yardstick of credibility now? You sound vaccinated." In the same thread, someone else writes, "I'm sure all 7 viewers were suitably horrified." You can see how this post first tried to discredit the news station and then attack the individual for something totally unrelated to the actual topic. And then the second tries to devalue the news station based on their interpretation of how many people even watch the show. In another post, someone writes, "I saw the video. Not true. Poilievre seems solid." This was in reference to Canadian Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre berating a Canadian press journalist about his own error in quoting media sources during the car explosion incident at the Niagara Falls border. It's a great example of how they were interpreting evidence to fit their own narrative. Someone else writes, "He got that information from government-sponsored media. Maybe fix sponsoring the liars at CTV, CBC, Global, and all the rest of the absolute disgraces." Again, there is an attack on traditional media, accusing them and the government of working together to trick the larger population. The idea that all these news agencies and the government, the same organizations that they also accuse of not being able to do simple tasks, are able to have this massive relationship and multi-story cover-up makes it all nonsensical to anyone willing to step outside of the angry view. There is no shortage of online examples demonstrating anger, misinformation, and disinformation. What you do with this information, depending on who you are online, can make a difference in your life and that of future generations. If current online behavior is any indication, this short article won't change your mind if you see yourself in any of these examples. In fact, you're likely to double down and accuse the article itself of being partisan, having an agenda, taking money from the government, and all sorts of other conspiracy theories that fit your mood or narrative. Or maybe you hear the bells and will rethink your social engagements. Finding ways to have meaningful, factual, peaceful conversations that stay on topic would be a great New Year's resolution at any time of year. This is an opinion article by me, Pietro Piraino of the Monthly Social Podcast. All right, hopefully you enjoyed that article. Again, you can read it and other articles over on guidopiraino.com/blog. I will have the links in the show notes, of course. Now, another thing I wanted to cover here, and you've probably heard it in the news, here in Canada, there's been some debates going on about Buffy Sainte-Marie. Now, Buffy Sainte-Marie is a singer and songwriter, an artist, a performer, and she's won several awards. Several Juno Awards for Indigenous Music Album of the Year, Aboriginal Album of the Year, Contemporary Roots Album of the Year. She's received the Governor General's Performing Arts Award, Aboriginal People's Choice Music Award, Canadian Aboriginal Award for Best Album, Best Songwriter, Best Female Artist. The accolades go on and on. And what happened is on October 27th, 2023, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, or CBC, published a Fifth Estate documentary titled Making an Icon. This documentary ends up investigating Buffy Sainte-Marie's claims to Indigenous ancestry. The documentary claims that the story of Sainte-Marie's birth, childhood, and identity has shifted throughout her career, saying that she identified as Algonquin and Mi'kmaq before she was Cree, adopted from a mother in Saskatchewan, and so on. And so a battle, in sense, has ensued between CBC and Buffy Sainte-Marie. And I received a press release from one of the publicists from Buffy Sainte-Marie, and I'm going to read that and share that with you now. In the press release, Buffy says this: "I want to begin by thanking the International Academy of Television Arts and Sciences for the honor. As one of the most prestigious awards in global entertainment industry, it is a true recognition of the outstanding team who worked on my story, the true story of my life. I've always believed it takes rain and sunshine to bring a rainbow. This great honor does indeed come after the rain, as I continue to absorb and process the recent attack on my character, life, and legacy. It's a deep wound to my inner child, but as an 82-year-old now, I'm strong, and these allegations do not shake me. Now it is time for me to shine a light on the truth, my truth. I have never lied about my identity. The more I've known, the more I've pieced together a sense of self from what information has been available to me. What I know about my Indigenous ancestry, I learned from my growing up mother, who was of Mi'kmaq heritage, and my own research later in my life. My mother told me that I was adopted and that I was Native. But there was no documentation, as was common for Indigenous children at the time. When I grew up, I was adopted into a Cree family by Emile Piepot, son of Chief Piepot, Treaty 4 Adhesion signatory, and Clara Starblanket Piepot, daughter of Chief Starblanket, Treaty 4 signatory, in accordance with Cree law and customs. They were kind, loving, and proud to claim me as their own. I love my Piepot family, and am so lucky to have them in my life. I have always struggled to answer questions about who I am. For decades, I tried to find my birth parents and information about my background. Through that research, what became clear and what I've always been honest about, I don't know where I'm from or who my birth parents are, and I will never know. Which is why to be questioned in this way is painful, both for me and for my two families I love so dearly. My Indigenous identity is rooted in a deep connection to a community which has had a profound role in shaping my life and my work. For my entire life, I have championed Indigenous and Native American causes when nobody else would or had the platform to do so. I am proud to have been able to travel the world, sharing Indigenous stories. I have always tried to bridge gaps between communities and educate people to live in love and kindness. This is my truth. And while there are many things I do not know, I have been proud to share my story, as I know it, throughout my life. The attack on my character is full of mistakes and omissions. While I will not stoop to respond to every false allegation, I feel it is important to clarify two things. First, the central proof used to question my identity is a story fabricated by my abuser and repeated by two members of my estranged family I don't even know. This has been incredibly re-traumatizing for me and unfair to all involved. It hurts me deeply to discover that my estranged family grew up scared of me and thinking these lies because of a letter I sent intended to protect me from further abuse from my brother. I want to be clear, I do not blame them. They, of course, want to believe their father. I have evidence I was sexually abused by my brother, but I cannot tolerate discomforting his children even more. I wish them only the best and hope they move forward from this and find peace, as I am trying to do. The second is my birth certificate. As many Indigenous people know, and the National 60s Scoop Healing Foundation of Canada has stated, it was common for birth certificates of Indian children to be created by Western governments after they were adopted or taken away from their families. So it was quite shocking to me to hear a city clerk say she had 100% confidence in its authenticity. I have never known if my birth certificate was real. I have used it because it was the only document I've had my whole life. I've heard from countless people with similar stories who do not know where they are from and feel victimized by these allegations and one-sided reporting, as I do. Most importantly, this is my life. I am not a piece of paper. I am a product of both my families and all my experiences in this world. If you are a pure-blood documented something, I'm glad for you. It's awesome and beautiful to hear you speak your lineage, history, and genealogy. But even if your documentation says you're racially pure, you might miss the point. Being an Indian has little to do with sperm tracking and colonial record keeping. It has to do with community, culture, knowledge, teachings, who claims you, who you love, who loves you, and who's your family. With respect and love, Buffy Sainte-Marie. So I will leave that statement with you to digest and consume. I do know that some of the things she talked about, I know a couple of episodes we had Indigenous artist author Saul Williams, and he spoke with me about truth and reconciliation, and he actually talked about his own birth certificate and how it didn't quite match his real birth, or what his family told him, because it was reissued to them. Anyway, I'm not here to dispute any of these or to pick a side. There's a lot of content and information there. I haven't had any direct contact with Buffy or the CBC, but I did receive that from the publicist and thought that I would share it with you here on the show, as I often do with many of these types of pieces of information. All right, I think it's time for another song. Let's go back to Jolene Harnish, and here's her song called Staycation.
Pack a bag, grab a coat, some music for the road. Hit the sand, smell the sea, hike for hours through the trees. We need to unwind. Don't worry about the time. I got no plan, just the keys. My favorite pair of jeans. Leave this every day behind. We can drive until we find a place to kick back. And don't we all need that? We could go for miles or stay close by and hunker down. We can camp out in the backyard or take some back road out of town. Let's take a staycation. Anywhere, don't need to pick a location. Take me away and stay right here. The rain or shine. Around here it changes all the time. Let's take a staycation. Heads west, tails east, no reservation. We'll hit every little small town along the way. Come on now, what do you say? Staycation. Drag the cooler to the dock. Forget about the clock. Pop a hucklejack or two. Sing some cash and petty tunes around the campfire. Surrounded by moonlight. And there's a cafe on the coast. I saw it in a post. They got music every night beneath patio lights. It's a party. Everybody loves a party. So let's take a staycation. Anywhere, don't need to pick a location. Take me away and stay right here. The rain or shine. Around here it changes all the time. Let's take a staycation. Heads west, tails east, no reservation. We'll hit every little small town along the way. Come on now, what do you say? Staycation. Let's take a staycation. Don't need a map, let's go before the sun goes down. We don't need an island paradise to get unwound. Take a staycation. Anywhere, don't need to pick a location. Take me away and stay right here. The rain or shine. Around here it changes all the time. Let's take a staycation. Heads west, tails east, no reservation. We'll hit every little small town along the way. Come on now, what do you say? Staycation. Oh, we'll take a staycation. We'll stay right here and we'll take a staycation.
That is Jolene Harnish, our Nova Scotian country music rising star, with her song Staycation. And of course, there is apparel that goes with that song, as you would have heard in our segment earlier in the show. Please stay tuned. We have another song from Jolene Harnish at the end of our show. Now, I'd like to get to our final segment of 2023 here on the Monthly Social. And the last session that we're going to have here is with my dad. My dad's name is Pietro Piraino. And I got to spend some time with my dad this summer, one-on-one, and we started sharing some stories, if you will, of when he first came to Canada. He was an immigrant, and we started comparing some notes and things that had happened, and how it happened and how he came, and jobs and things like that. And it got me to thinking, with all of the immigration that is in the news these days, in terms of housing and folks coming to Canada to have a better life, what it was like for my dad, and recalling what it was like for us as first generation Canadians, being born here after my parents had come here from Italy. And it wasn't easy, and I imagined that even before I came along, when they first came here, that it wasn't easy. And you'll hear that in our stories that we shared, in our conversations, in detail, and from the words of my father and his expressions. And I don't have a video of this. We only did an audio. But you could see sometimes the hesitation and the thought, and recollecting the memories. Now, just to add a twist to this, I asked the questions in Italian, and my dad answered in English. And so it will be interesting to see if you can infer what the question was based on his answers. What I might do is put in the transcripts or in the show notes a link to the questions in English, if it's something that would be helpful to you. But I just thought it would be more authentic. And now for my, for the folks who speak a pure Italian, I used a dialect. And it's a mixture of Calabrese and sometimes Sicilian dialect, which is what we learned to speak here growing up in Canada. And sometimes we would mix in English words, and we would go the slang route. Anyways, I really thought I wanted to end the 2023 show with something that was close to home, given that it's Christmas time, given that we get together with our families, or we want to get together with our families, or we try to get together with people that we love and hold near and dear to us. And this was a segment that was very near and dear to me. My father's motto is La familia è tutto. The family is everything. Here is Pietro Piraino.
A dove sei nato?
I born in 1934 in Cerda, provincia di Palermo, Sicilia.
Italy.
Italy.
Yeah. Quando figlia aveva alla famiglia? Quando frate e sorelle?
Quando frate e sorelle, I have 5 brothers and 1 sister.
Siete stati sempre nella stessa casa?
Oh, sempre, everybody stay in the same house, but after the first, my brother, when I have 18 years, he rolled in the army, and he was sergeant.
Tu sei stato il bebito della famiglia?
No, the baby, the family is Giuseppe.
Quando tu eri all'Italia, sei giunto alla scuola?
Oh, yes. When I was in Italy, I went to the first class. I finished the grade 5, because that is important, the time in grade 5. But after I can go no more, because the time the war, is stay home.
So, che ha fatto dopo la classe 5?
I went the time we had a big family home, you know. And I went to pick up olive for 200 lire a day. And just I was 1 month of that. I had to wake up at 5:30 in the morning and come back when it's dark for 1 week. 200 lire a day just to come 2 kilograms of bread.
So, dopo la classe 5 ha lavorato a fare a pigliare saliva. E quando ti hanno pagato, when they paid you, quando ti hanno pagato, che ha fatto con le soldi?
Well, I bring my mom is do everything. After I work with help a bricklayer, you know, and they give me 500 lire a day, but I still have work to maybe 9 or 10 hours.
So, i soldi ha portato la rata al genitore?
Al genitore, my mom do everything because my father was all the time in the land, you know, just to wake up at 5:30 and come back when it's dark. It was the guard, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chi ti ha imparato a fare bricklayer?
Io ti ho imparato, just to little bit for the head, you know, but just to watch that beer. But
Ha guardato Ace a lavorare?
yeah, just a little bit, but not so much because you know the bricklayer was jealous of the mystery, you know. Super hard, I say.
So, ti imparavano, but not really.
No, not really. You gotta do for yourself, you know. Anyway, I work most of the I work with the bricklayers. I have a lot of friends too. At the time is 500 lire, 600 lire, 700 lire. Yeah.
Chi accattava con 500-600 lire?
Why, what I gotta buy? I mean, that time is totally 500 lire what you gotta buy? You buy maybe a couple of kilograms of bread and maybe 1 kilogram of pasta.
Che ha fatto dopo che chiso? Ha continuato a lavorare per tenderne così?
I have another story I got told. When I have is 16 years, I got some as a contractor from Messina, no?
Messina?
Yeah, from Messina. And I have for 6 months because I got to do some I got the targa florio, no? The race, no? I got to make it more white for the road, no? So I got lots of work over there. I worked 6 months there. But that time I worked there, the assistant came and said to me, "You want to work all the time or just want to go home? Why?" He said, "I give 500 lira a day." He said, if I want to work. No, if not, it's out. Okay, I stay. So I work. He gave me 500 lira. 500 lira make a 2,000 lira every week. So anyway, after I went to the finished job. Maybe they say, "Okay, come over here." I say, "You got to sign this." Why? You you is so despised for everything I do. I said, no. Why? There. He told him out. I said, okay, I'll go out. I don't care. Say, but at that time, I say, the guy say, it's a mad because maybe say, I don't know, can say what. Okay. I say, go out. I say, you got to give me the difference. The difference, you got to give another 20 lire a day. 20 lire a day is another 1,000 lire a week. After the make it say, okay, I give it, say, make a little bit, say, half and half. Okay, I give me, the time I give it, I think 10,000 lire. I can't remember. More.
So, t'ha pagato a te o
No, I pagato a me because
he paid you?
Yeah, because they gotta give me the difference. Because I work 6 months.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why. Ma,
So, che lo lavora alla SAT.
yeah. No, after they finish the job.
Quando tu pensi a quando eri più piccolo, che è la cosa che ti ricordi e più d'Italia quando crescevi all'Italia? Che è una memoria che ti ricordi e più? Che è? Famiglia, una cosa che ha fatto?
The family say, the mom and dad, everybody, the family say, it's okay, Yeah, when I was 18 years old, I want to go roll to military, But they say, it was the guys over there. It was to Palermo. The smaller one was me. The other one told, hey, you're not married reform. So the other guys was say, reveribile, con che stai a Ossidonio. Oh, it's okay, I'll go in the army. But after I go because 18 years ago, I refused, After I have to go military, say, for another 2-3 years, I call them,
Quando tu facevi sul lavoro e cose, a dove erano i fratelli e sorelle tuoi?
The first Frank is my brother was in the army. Lilo is he was over there after they say role police too. Yeah, everybody say work, somebody not like work. No one work.
Perché alla SAT Italia? Sei sposato?
After I went to the army, I stayed for 18 months, in the army. I've been after in Milano make a course for health and sanità, After they make a lot of camping, I was to Monte Bianco. I was Monte Rosa. After they got some camping, after they say, concede, after they say, marry and meet the wife. There is the kids. It's 1960 coming Canada. I passed all of my life here.
Perché sei venuto a Canada?
I come in Canada because it's not a job, in Italy is not a job, no future over there. After 1970, the boom, for all over the world, everybody work. But I come here was in Canada. I have some time hard time to find a job, hard time to work, hard time to find a job.
A che anno sei venuto?
1960, July 6th. Yeah, just the day I made.
Perché sei venuto su Sainte-Marie?
Yeah, because it's the parents for the wife se was here, come to Sainte-Marie. I said, stay in Sainte-Marie.
Potevi ir in un altro posto? Potevi ir a Chicago or New York?
No, Chicago, New York, I can't go. I said, no. Just I want to go sometime, maybe in Montreal, maybe Toronto, whatever. But I stay here. But, yeah.
Sei venuto con la neve?
Yeah, I come from the Olympia. Olympia is got the name is from a Greek. Was a lot of people there, most of those people. Yeah, I come in 96. Went to Messina. It come Barry, come Mame, come is everybody, farmer, sister, brother-in-law, everybody. I would say went to Messina. From Messina after reached to Napoli. E from Napoli take other passenger. Next day, just to come straight.
Ci ha messo 6 ore alla neve.
Yeah, because I mean, no stop, no place. Just to watch, the span, watch the Black Sea, watch everything. We go straight. Ah.
Qual è il primo lavoro che ha avuto chiacchiere?
Il primo lavoro che hai avuto. Come contratto, really hot. Now even the people who is in the jail do that job, I say, hot.
Che ha fatto a Goma contract?
Come contratto, they got inside the Goma steel, the furnace got down. I got to clean over there, got to do something clever.
Quando hanno lavorato a Goma contract?
A Goma contract I work 8 years. After 8 years, I quit. But I go a Goma steel. I work for 22 years and a half.
Now, that's part one of the interview with my dad, Pietro Piraino. And we took a little break when we had reached this point. My dad is almost 90 years old. And so he was getting a little tired and he needed a little drink of water. But it gave me a good opportunity to stop and think about some of the things we had talked about. And just his working conditions in Italy, having grown up there, it wasn't good. The conditions weren't good for him. There were several employers who tried to take advantage, where they would try to, make side deals and take part of the wages. And I just thought it was also interesting that, he talked about when he did make some money, he had a big family and he would bring the money home to his mom, my grandmother. And, she sort of handled those things and his dad, my grandfather, he would leave very early in the morning and get home very late at night from work. And my dad had started to enter that sort of routine as well in trying to find work as well. So, he decides that he wants to, make his way to Canada. And you could tell he talks about moving from, place to place and job to job in Italy. And he understood and knew that, while sometimes he could make some money, sometimes he was very limited, and he knew that something else had to happen for him, and it wasn't happening at the time for him in Italy. And so he decides that, he wants to go to Canada, find a better life. So let's listen to part 2 about coming to Canada with Pietro Piraino.
Quando tu sei arrivato a Canada e gente che erano qua già, come ti hanno accettato? Sono state buone o sono state male?
They said it's okay. Everybody's okay over here because You got a lot of Italy over here. It's before they make it's a 48,000 marine, not too big, you know. After the immigrants come from Calabria, from Abruzzo, all over Italy, you know. It's coming from lots of people come after but when you come here, is no have too much people, you know. I don't see that it have a kind of tiny, small room. No, nothing. It's some road is also rough, you know. No Martin and nothing, you know, nothing. Is you know, garden. Living the road, there was all a farm there. That's it.
Era meglio qua? È come la stata l'Italia? Era meglio qua?
Better was here because I told you, we come over here and make some loans for the bank in Italy, 550,000 lire, you know, it's for the people, you know. And after they say, over here even I make it because in Italy you make it is 600 lire, okay. Over here you make it maybe is $10. It was 6,000 lire. You know, it's in Italy. So after they say, I work here since an hour summertime. Summertime I have, summertime no I have nothing. Another thing is, I take my loans as first years, you know, because I work with a better pay. Sometimes I work with a contractor in a better seat. So I work 1 week there. After that, the guys, they make me check. When I got the check, no more in the bank. Bankrupt. I work 1 week for nothing.
A dove sono venuti i soldi?
You don't got no money. You make a bankrupt. No have money, the contractor. You don't pay me.
So non hanno pagato?
No.
So you worked for free for a week when you were there?
I work for 3 weeks. No pay. Okay. That's bad. Yeah.
Quando ti è accattata la prima macchina?
Oh, you know, the first story is, I can tell you this story. Is when I tried to take a job on the lock.
The Sulak.
Sulak. And the guys is telling me, say, I have somebody, you know, wants to help and will take a job. I go over there. We put me and the guys, they put an application. When I go over there, they told me, say, what you need big boots. You need a nicer jacket. So, anyway, I said, Jimmy Street, they got a lot of Italian guys. They say, you give me the pair of boots. Oh, yeah, I'll make credit for you. Okay, take a boots. I got another guy say, hey, store, I need a jacket. Can I have jacket? Oh, sure, take it, what you want. Okay.
Credit.
So after the guys work in a job. Ask the guys, say, what to do is for the job. Oh, go over there. But what you gotta say? I can't speak English very good because, you know, the first time. You go over there and say, you know my name on the list? Okay. So I go there, see the superintendent. They say, you know my name on the list? Oh, yeah. You say, oh, here, if somebody is sick, you take a place. Nobody cannot take a place. So I had to give the guy, say, come back in the store and say, oh, that's happening to me. How I can pay now? Oh, I'll bring him back. I had to bring him back and they showed. And that's the thing. And that's what happened. But after that, the second year, me and this friend, I say, we go over there. Nobody there. Come on now. So we go there, I say, I want to put application here. Okay. Faccio name, I put a name. I work at the time, I work at Goma Corduta a lot. Anyway, after this couple of weeks, we call it period, employment insurance. You got to start so long on that day. Okay. So after this, he said, I got this good friend. It was the guys from Frivola, I asked him, say, I like this. Here, go. I help you. Tell him how I work. I change the shift. Okay. I make it a job. I make it a job. After this, somebody take me for the car, I have a car. I go, he help me, or take me, bring me there. So, I work 3 months in Solok. Every got the layoff the last time. That's why. I make a little bit of money. But the car I have to buy the car. Not too many cars when I buy the car. I buy 1961 Pontiac, 89.
$1,800
Yeah.
è accattato nel 1961
Pontiac Parisian.
Pontiac.
Parisian. The best one.
Yeah.
Parisian was the first one. Anyway, after they say, this guy say, he was a farmer, but even as another guys, lots of guys help him, After I work he sent me for work outside. He saw me as a superintendent from Agoma Street there. I do some job at that. But I have to go every morning I got punch the car, come back. But I work after this, not bad.
Abitava in una casa? Stava con famiglia o ha affittato una casa?
No, we went in a farmer, It's mother-in-law.
Stavate tutti insieme?
Yeah, tutto assieme, stavo.
Everybody's together?
Yeah. After lots of things. Lots of good things, good bad things.
Qual è la cosa più meglio che è successo che sei venuto a Canada?
Over here I got this more money, because I told it, you may even make it is an hour, $8 a day, is 4,400 lire, Here in Italy, you make 600 lire. I have a job. That's right.
Se tu eri stata all'Italia, come tu pensi che la vita era?
No, I don't know about happening.
Difficile? Più difficile?
Why it's pretty hard there because you especially when I met I was from Sicily in Calabria, You don't know the people there after they can't find nobody, Just to have friends at the time. Some friend talk for somebody, the doctor wanted me the job, but I have to go in like college, another province. I gotta stay over there. Nobody there. I had a lot of bad things. It's I sleep inside of there, like in the attic we have it.
In an attic?
Yeah. After this, I have to cook myself. I have to bad. The money not bad because at the time is making me totally a day. Not bad. That's a lot of money that time. Is it?
Ma a vita era difficile.
Oh, per hard, bad. That's it. That's it. Got to say.
Perché tu dici la famiglia è tutto?
The family. The family is good because he got when he's in the family, everybody got respect from one by one. No matter if somebody make a mistake, he say, okay, I make a mistake. But, gotta bring like the audio, for the people, you gotta say, I make a mistake. Say, sorry, goodbye. Family is everyone in the world because you got the kids, you gotta just say, you gotta respect one by one, That's it.
Che ne t'ha imparato Chris? Che ne t'ha imparato a dire la famiglia è tutto?
Nobody. It's just on my head.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. That's it.
Well, that is my dad, Pietro Piraino, and that's his story about coming over to Canada, an immigrant coming from Italy. And, in that second part, he talks about some similar experiences where he met some people in Canada when he arrived and when he was in Sault Ste. Marie that maybe weren't so nice to him. Again, tried to take advantage of him, made false promises. He got hired for jobs where he worked and then, didn't get compensated or false hopes in those jobs. But along the way, he also met some people. Like he talked about, he couldn't afford to get the work clothes or the boots that he needed to go and do a job, but he found some businesses that were willing to give these immigrants at the time an opportunity. They would give them credit and you can come back and pay. And even after, there's the one example, which is phenomenal. Even after he found out he wasn't going to get the job or get to do the work that he was promised, he was able to go back and that vendor took back the boots or took back the jacket and said, listen, don't worry about it. I understand. I can't imagine that happening today. And then affording you that type of credit. But he talks about those instances and relying on people, relying heavily on family. And you hear him say over and over, it was bad. It was really bad in Italy. It was really bad. I don't know what my life would have been if I hadn't come here in terms of opportunity. But it wasn't easy me coming here either. And I got to say, I had the opportunity to work in the steel plant where my dad worked, actually, in the same area where my dad worked. I did it as a student when I was younger. I had that opportunity, and there were places of the steel plant that, I know he worked hard to put food on the table for his family, and that it wasn't an easy job for him to do. But, I also know that he did it with a lot of pride. And because I met people who were still working in the steel plant who knew my dad, and, they would tell me, you know what, he was a good guy. He was a good worker. Yeah, we loved him, sort of thing. And that doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me, and not at all. And so, look, the other part of this is, and I want to share this with you. I did this interview with my dad, and we sat at the kitchen table at his home. And my dad has been legally blind for a lot of years. He had something happened with his eyesight when I was younger, when I was about 17, and it's just steadily gotten worse and whatnot. And so he hasn't had it easy. There's always been a little bit of a struggle there. And now he's approaching 90 years old. But this has never stopped him from moving forward. And I'm asking him those questions, and I gave him a bunch of conditions. Try not to mention any personal names or give away personal details about any of your friends or your family. And this wasn't scripted. He answered those questions on the fly as I gave them to him. And so you could see the thought process and just the way he digested them. So look, I've done a lot of interviews with people, and for him to be able to do that and keep all of that in check, as I said, he was getting a little tired, and just to think through things and be able to answer the way he did, I couldn't be more proud than I already was of my dad. So look, at the end of the day, I hope you enjoyed the segment. I know that I did. I learned a lot. And I'm certain that if we had do another one, I'm going to learn a whole lot more, because he's a wealth of stories and knowledge that are of value to me and the family, and hopefully you found some value in them as well, as I explored immigrants coming to Canada and what some of the challenges are today compared to what they were yesterday through the eyes of my father. Now, as I close out the show, Happy New Year. Thanks for being here with me this year. Hope to see you again next year. Let's hear from Jolene Harnish and her song rooted in family, Blueberries.
Always been the kind of girl to drive till the fuel light comes on. The meter in this U-Haul rental must be a little off. Now my phone is running low, and I'm waiting on a tow. Everything I own broke down here on the side of this road. But I ain't gonna cry no tears for the third man I've been with in 10 years. The thoughts in my mind